Okay, Roadkill. The first matchup today, River of Blood versus Refuse to Die. Let's talk about these two teams. First off, River of Blood, week one, my goodness, they looked mighty. They looked incredible. They looked like they could sail the high seas, put the sails up, and coast to victory. But their second week, it was up against Fanatics. So the type of expectations that you have, listen, it's most likely going to be a loss, but what can we learn from this? And they did take one battle off of Himmelsdorf. The thing with Refuse to Die is that they're currently 1-1 as well. And Refuse to Die faced a team like, Gong Fu last week, but River of Blood is not the same team. They're facing a team that has bested teams with better records than Refuse to Die. So what has to happen here? Refuse to Die has to play to their strengths. They have to play tight. They cannot go off-road. What I mean by that is the first battle that Bag of Kittens had against Cunningham's, being completely caught off guard, isolated, and destroyed. Those isolations can't happen. Refuse to Die has good fundamentals, good tactics, and if they stick to those tactics, they can be able to at least bring this to 5 battles. River of Blood, maintain that aggression. If they took notes from the type of battle that Cunningham's had against Refuse to Die in week number 1, they know that within the first 2 minutes, that's when Refuse to Die has been the most vulnerable, at least when it comes to stats. If they stick to that, then this will be maybe a 3-0 or 3-1 victory. And with that, that's what's at stake for both these teams. Hopefully it won't go to a tiebreaker because neither of these teams need that right now, that 1 league point victory. They want 3 points.
Oh, yeah, and you've seen how it hurt Hammer Time so much. They're just below everyone else. A tiebreaker would probably end up forcing them to be at least somewhere on the same road as Hammer Time will be for the rest of the season, especially if they keep winning with Hammer Time by their side.
Now, if Refuse to Die wins this will be considered an upset story. And this will also be another Cinderella story for River of Blood, which is the story that they're tired of telling, of being the comeback kings, the ones that were almost out of the league, out of the fight at least to get to the finals, and then at the end were able to bring it back by winning every match. Unfortunately for them, that's not the case when it came to Season 3. They could not best Googly Bobbers in that tiebreaker, so therefore they had to face Jay Smooth and his team Sipple Tankers, their personal friends, part of the same clan, in the playoffs, and they did not make it out.
I mean, you're expected to fight both of those teams and then win. It's incredible to try and expect that to work out very well. River Blood's good, but those are two teams that you must respect.
Yep. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome the two team representatives to the face-off. Gentlemen, good evening.
Ahoy!
Ahoy, Roadkill.
All right, River of Blood. Let's start with you. Last week, you faced Fnatic. What can you attribute to your team's battle victory on Himmelsdorf?
We're good brawlers. We're one of the best brawlers. So other teams, I think they're better if they've really planned out some positions, or they just wait and wait and wait, get in the damage they can while we come forward, and then they have an advantage in the brawl later. Or they catch us in a spot where we're kind of trapped, like happened in Ant's first game against Fnatic. But if we can get in a brawl, which is what we want, we're going to win. That's all there is to it.
Did you see an improvement in your team despite the loss?
I was absent, of course, but yeah, I felt like we stuck to our plan, but Fnatic had better plans. Their Prokhorovka plan was very tight. I like how they were able to find a way to trap the T-32s. Their Ensk play was just methodically patient and, got them a win. I would never play like that, but you do what you do to win. I don't knock it. I respect them. They have good gameplay. So otherwise, though, yeah, I think we stuck to our plan, and they just, they're a tough team. It's Fnatic. I mean, even good plans are going to look bad against them sometimes.
Let's check in with Refuse to Die. We'll come right back to you, though, Captain Blood. River of Blood is a more established gold team compared to Gong Fu, Refuse to Die. That's a team that you beat last week. How have you prepared for tonight's match?
Lots of coloring crayons, coloring books, really drew a whole new playbook for tonight. But this is the first time we've played River of Blood since match 1 of season 1, so I'm pretty excited for it. Both Captain Blood and Duck from their team are a short drive away from my house, so I kind of have the regional friendship going on with these guys.
So you don't use it to spy on them and catch on those strats?
No. I mean, there was some talk of maybe some foul play, like, just driving up to Captain Blood's house and, snipping his phone line or something. But It seemed logical at the time.
There can be only one in Minnesota.
All right, Bag of Kittens, do you have any words for River of Blood before we start?
I think everything that he just said was absolutely right. Looking at it from my standpoint, I think they are the better brawlers, and so I think we're going to do our best to either keep them out of the brawl or bring it to them when they don't expect it.
Your Captain Blood. Be any words for your opponent before we start?
Yeah, they're like a little clipper ship running away with their silver loot. Normally I hunt bounty with gold loot, but maybe they got some gold now they're up here in the Gold League. And what have we here? Is it a mutiny? Recognize this guy? I think he's on your team, Valkyrie. And let's see, Refuse to Die wants River of Blood to win. Mutiny already on the high seas.
You may have a spy in your crew.
Yep. They're, I don't have my mouse over here. Well.
All right, well played. Love the cosplay. Best of luck to both you gentlemen on the battlefield.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck, man.
Bye.
Oh, it's going to be tough for Captain Blood to see anything out of that left eye. I don't know if he's wearing a patch and that hair.
You have to have a patch. Every
Yeah.
pirate needs
Yeah.
a patch. It increases your pirate power.
Could you play with a hook?
Yeah, because
As
all I
well?
do is press W.
Yeah, forward is the best direction. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Why don't we go ahead and detail the rosters for both these teams and a couple of the players that we're going to be looking out for based on their stats. Refuse to Die, Bag of Kittens. He's in the tier 8s a lot, which is not the most common type of tank for the commander, but he is a good performer on that. Also taking a look at Anubis. Even when he's disconnected, he's still a viable asset when it comes to Refuse to Die.
And Valkyrie Vewas. He's one of the 2 top damage dealers right there behind a Bag of Kittens. But for River of Blood, always watch out for Dodoma. Dodoma, coming from Fnatic, now in River of Blood, is just brilliant on that team. Somehow he just keeps doing everything right. It seems like he's carrying. He's just standing out so much against all of the other players who are doing very well. I'm also talking about Rylak, who's doing incredibly well, and Doc Golem, who was one of our MVPs in a previous season. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it to that finals.
Yeah.
Really disappointing me because I haven't been able to give him a hat for it.
Was unfortunate, but Dodoma, who did over 3,500 damage last week, I don't think anyone's been able to top that so far. So one of the rules of victory is to keep him alive. But Rookhill, you have some other rules as well for both these teams. Let's hear it.
Exactly. First rule is ride the wave, Refuse to Die. You're either going to have to go with the flow for those brawls. You guys were talking about it so much in the interview. That's a part of my advice. Either get out of the way, go with the flow, something, but they're coming at you. Second is keep a safe distance because, yes, they are going to attack. Sniping might be a good idea. It seems like Kittens already has picked up on a lot of that. They know how to counter out River of Blood and their aggression. Maybe. We'll have to see. And then third, I'm going to give it to River of Blood. If they can temper their aggression and not get ahead of themselves when they start making these pushes, I think they will be okay. It's just a matter of not getting overconfident, just like a few other teams have done when they get on a winning streak, or between battles. Win one battle, the next battle, it's a whole new story. You have to play it differently. There's different styles, different approaches and strategies. Don't just keep pushing or else you'll just be stopped cold and you'll lose your momentum.
That's one of the biggest things you brought up that I'll agree with you, Rookhill, is brawling versus sniping. And what Refuse to Die was able to do in the past, especially on Abby. Abby is their map. If they can play on the map in this series, they're going to take it. 99.9% chance they're going to take it. If they're able to temper their opponents with distance and afterwards, because of the chip damage, taking out more of that HP, moving for the brawl, they could take down River of Blood. We're going to have to see. The countdown has almost finished. First map will be on steps. Rookhill, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, we have 2 T69s and 3 1390s for River of Blood. Refuse to Die will bring a Pershing, a T69, and 3 1390s.
Pershing, the T69, the two differences here. Both American tanks spreading freedom as Independence Day is around the corner. As a reminder to everyone, July 3rd will be an entire broadcast of both divisions. We will not be broadcasting on July 4th. So what better way to celebrate Independence Day Eve than with watching World of Tanks? We'll give you guys more information on the broadcast hours, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure to tune in for that.
Yep. Opening moves from Savagey. He will be scouting the way in his 1390. Looks like he'll find World War II Fanatic, but not a Bag of Kittens yet as he tries to go and find a rock. World War II and Bag of Kittens are actually going to fall back. giving control of the east side to River of Blood. West side will go to Refuse to Die. Let's see if they can get some of the T1s out, as it looks like Doc Golem and Dodoma. Wow, Dodoma, you are going way up. This is a very aggressive opening move from River of Blood. They're going to skip that whole east-west polarization stuff, and they're going straight for a fight.
Well, Slovenian and Valkyrie Vios are the ones that have held back on the side of Refuse to Die to the south, and World War II Fnatic and Bag of Kittens are the ones closest to the potential danger. Now they're going up the no man's road under cover of this trench, and they're going to push further north. Is this a viable tactic from Refuse to Die initially? Sure, to get away from the isolationism of the two 1390s. And also, it could bait out River of Blood to push towards the flag cap. But not much scouting is happening at this moment, and this puts Refuse to Die into an aggressive position against River of Blood. River of Blood's spread is almost matched, though, with Refuse to Die, as they have four of their tanks up towards the north, 2 in the back with the consistent fire. T-69 and the Pershing. And shots are fired towards GQ, it looks like, from Captain Blood. Yep. Another shot against the T1, and it's a miss.
That was an attempted pinch on the northwest position. Nice shot. World War II Fnatic does get GQ down after they scared him out for spotting. He was lit for a while, did not go down. He got out. A nice pinch onto about D2, D3, looking for any tanks over there. If they found someone, it would have been brutal. But River of Blood, not over there, only a T1. And because of that, now River of Blood has lost their T1, and they're forced, actually, to take the east side. It looked like they didn't want to at first. They wanted a fight in the south, or just anywhere at all. But Bag of Kittens, Anubis, World War II Fnatic being a little bit too squirrely for him.
Bag of Kittens now popping up in the southern hemisphere of the map. You could maybe get some long-range fire if any of the tanks were spotted. They won't be. Checking in on hired gun behind the bush. Canaduck is closest to his position, way up in the mountains.
Yep. He is just running around in his 1390, highly aggressive move. Usually we'll see a T1 take that kind of a position or take this kind of aggressive move, but he may be able to find hired gun. He will, along with Valkyrie Vewas.
And Doc Golem gets the kill against hired gun.
Nice combo.
So that is all of the west in command of Refuse to Die, the entire east side, if we count the no man's road as the split, in control of River of Blood.
And with Canaduck in such a forward position, it's going to be difficult for Refuse to Die to move out of their incredibly defensive position away from Cap. They could even use this to screen the Cap, and does look like River of Blood is going to do that. Dodoma's moved across, Savage Golem also making their way from the east into their enemy's Cap zone. Refuse to Die is actually going to be moving out of the south at this time. Maybe we'll see Refuse to Die lose to a Cap fast from River of Blood. And now Rylak's even moving across the open. He's in his 1390, just crossing, not even caring. River of Blood's doing something I don't usually recommend, which is not utilizing cover or not playing as safe. But this is paying off simply due to the fact that their opponent is respecting their aggression and giving them plenty of distance.
World War II Fnatic hanging back a little bit, looking towards the south at least. Slovenian and Valkyrie Vios are the ones that will aggress first. And I really like this positioning from River of Blood. This screen to move up past the road. They may be a little bit vulnerable, but they have enough rocks to give them cover. And Slovenian and Valkyrie Vios are going to try to hold here, and they are able to get one shot on Doc Golem. World War II Fnatic's going to move towards the road itself, and Bag of Kittens, along with Quasiar, are going to get on the flag cap to the north. They're actually going to push further to try to stop the one tank that they do spot, which is Captain Blood in the T1. World War II Fnatic's going to cruise south.
Bag of Kittens takes him down. Cap continues. River of Blood having put, who is that on the Cap? Savage in his 1390. We'll be seeing Solo with a screen going to the west. It'll be a desperate move for Refuse to Die to try and stop this Cap, but Anubis and World War II Fnatic might be able to get it done, as Canaduck, Doc Golem, and the rest of River Blood are pushing in on tanks to the west. Dodoma
got hit, so did Canaduck, but they're still in the firefight. Slovenian is going to get targeted first. 3 tanks moving towards him. Well, 2 actually, as Rylak focuses on Valkyrie Vios. World War II Fnatic looks at Rylak, fires just above the tank, and he's going to try to focus fire on this 1390, but he is low. And he tracks Rylak, does no HP damage, and he gets another one in a bounce off World War II Fnatic. It's 3 against 1 for the 1390. But look, there's 10 more seconds left for Refuse to Die to get the flag cap. And can he take down Rylak from here? There's a missed shot from World War II Fnatic. And Anubis gets the shot against Rylak. 5 more seconds for Refuse to Die to get this. Blind fire may be coming. and it is not in time. They're able to capture the base. Refuse to Die takes battle number 1.
Very nice counter aggression. We saw River of Blood stacking up, getting ready to put the cap pressure on, but there was better counter cap pressure from Refuse to Die. I like to see that. That's them understanding their opponent and the way they'll leave openings. River of Blood had a tank only watching their own cap. No one was actually prepared to defend their cap. And because of that, Refuse to Die just played a little bit smarter this time.
They played the long-range game. As I mentioned, they stayed out of the brawl. They had that continuous pressure, as you mentioned, towards the north. They took out the T1 as well to not spot how many tanks were still up there, even though there's a good indication you know how many tanks are on the flag cap. They were able to maintain the south, and they got the resets, and it was 3 against 1. So River of Blood was more focused on getting the kills to the south, and because of that, it allowed more time for the north to capture. That long-range game, staying out of the brawl, staying out of the strengths of their opponent and working towards their own strengths, this is really, really good tactics from Refuse to Die. And if we know what the next map is, which is going to be Himmelsdorf, this is where aggression can really, really come in favor to River of Blood if they catch Refuse to Die out of position anywhere. Too many tanks up on the hill, too many tanks on on the D line if they spawn to the north that can get just pounced upon, surrounded through the courtyard.
Yeah, this is the map that I think River of Blood is probably going to be able to take. They're very competent on maps like this. On Ensk, they're a very competent team. It's difficult to deal with that kind of aggression and stay away from a brawl when you can't see your opponent until they're 200 meters away from you or until you have to proxy spot them. And because of that, River of Blood should take the advantage on this one. This could be the point where they come back. This would make sense also if during map picking, they'd actually picked this and not cared about what side they were on.
Mm-hmm. Well, how the map picks work is that before the match begins, the admin takes care of all that, so the maps are already laid out. And if we see Abby in this series, like I mentioned before, strong indication that Refuse to Die can get a win on there. As long as they stay with what's been working. If some of these teams try to change too much or they think, oh, it's not going to work against this team, stick to your plan. As Captain Blood said, you stick to your plan, and then afterwards you change the plan when things don't work. Well, let's find out what plans these two teams have. Battle number 2 on Himmelsdorf. Real Kill, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, I'm looking at 2 5100s and 3 IS-3s for River of Blood. On the other side, Refuse to Die is going to bring 4 5100s and IS-3. I was talking about how uncommon that was yesterday, and Refuse to Die has decided to surprise me. That is a lot of damage in the initial fight waiting to happen.
Long range sniper fire. They're going with what works for them.
And if you want to push into that as River of Blood, you're going to have to get your focus fire perfect or catch someone out, because that many 5100s is going to tear apart any number of IS-3s. There's so much damage waiting to happen.
Speaking of the courtyard, River of Blood is cruising through. 2 of their tanks already. They're going to go unchallenged as Refuse to Die has split their tanks. 2 of the 5100s along with the T1 are heading up to the hill. Bag Kitten slowed down a bit here because it looks like nothing's been spotted yet. River of Blood is pushing really far up north on the west.
Rylak was spotted, now Quasiar as well.
Okay.
And that will reveal this push. Doc Golem is finally lit. They should be able to take him down, or they might just say no and continue on, as it does look like. Remember when Refuse to Die went and found that defensive position against, I can't remember who they were playing, but it was an A4? Well, it looks like they're going to do that again. Oh, it was Fun Gaming in the qualifiers.
Yes.
It might just happen again. That same trap, that same position from Anubis and Valkyrie Vey was.
And around the corner, here comes Rylak.
Rylak, no. He's
Anubis
walking into
and
it.
Valkyrie Vey are ready. 754, but one shot misses. Anubis is going to turn the corner. They can't get the kill, but they did over 1,000 damage. That one missed shot could have maybe have taken it. And that's coming from, is that Slovenian? No, that's from all the way up here. Yes, that's from Slovenian. Long-range sniper fire from the 5100s.
It's a hard shot to make, especially down those roads. Doc Golem's just going to come on. He doesn't care.
Slovenian is able to get that shot against Doc Golem, and now Bag of Kittens has left the hill. They're going to continue the long-range firefight. Anubis does fall. Still not a kill yet for Refuse to Die, and Valkyrie Vey is in serious trouble since he is going to be surrounded by all these tanks. However, he can get the kill against Doc Golem, but it looks like that was a bounce.
But the cover from the 5100 Anubis is actually keeping him alive for much longer than he should, and you can see so much damage is being dealt to River of Blood. They have lost so much momentum, and they have paid way too dear a price for this position.
Slovenian and Bag of Kittens are going to continue from the higher ground for that sniper fire. Now, yeah, it may be harder to land some of these shots, but you look at the amount of damage that has been done to River of Blood. Refuse to Die has to make the conscious decision to push up now with 26 seconds left on the flag cap, and they have got to go for a reset here.
They are actually very far out from being able to do that. They
They
may
are.
not
Bag of
be in
Kittens,
position.
stop. There was a shot. It did not reset, though. Bag of Kittens has got to keep going, even if it's ram damage. 3 seconds left. 2, 1, and they don't get it. They
Wait.
can't get the reset in time.
Kittens.
He must have been reloading. He must have been reloading. Could not get the reset. I really like this defensive play from Refuse to Die. However, there's a couple missed shots there, and they couldn't get 1 or 2 of those kills because Rylak was able to stay behind some of his tanks, share that HP. But this was smart play out of Refuse to Die, though. Just River of Blood was able to continue that aggression and use what worked for them.
And that was a mistake by Refuse to Die. When they didn't react well enough, they stayed back with sniper fire while they were going for sniper fire. There's times when you have to get close enough to stop the cap. Stay too far away, you'll end up. River of Blood was on steps. You're too far to get back to your own cap and defend after you lose the defenders. Same situation here. River of Blood makes a push. They get on cap. Refuse to Die isn't there, and they can't react in enough time. Just goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, the big difference is shots that landed. And yes, it's tougher when you have longer range, but it's better to have a 5100 rather than an IS-3 at range. But taking a look at Slovenian, he was 3 for 7. World War II Fanatic was 3 for 7. Bag of Kittens was 4 for 8. Valkyrie View Us in the IS-3 was 3 for 4. Then let's take a look at River of Blood. 4 for 5, 4 for 7, 4 for 5, 2 for 2, and 1 for 2. So the IS-3s, they don't have the same damage burst compared to a 5100, but they are able to get into the brawl mode, thick of it, and try to bounce a couple of those shots, try to get in between the 5100s of the enemy and the 5100s of your allies. And that's what's really important in those type of battles to close that gap.
Yeah, just IS-3s can do so much work. There's a reason they're the consistent fire tank for city maps. They have great alpha. They have great damage. They just didn't bring a lot of them, I think. And they
Yeah.
brought 5100s instead, which, while they're fast, just didn't get into the fight.
Maybe one more IS-3 instead of 5100 could have changed that scenario. Well, now we're going to be on Abbey. Let's see if my prediction is correct, that this is almost a guaranteed win for Refuse to Die. It's going to depend on tank choices and also on the strategy. Rukil, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, 2 5100s, 2 T69s, and a 1390 for River of Blood. Refuse to Die will bring a 5100 and IS-3, and 3 1390s. Strong strat. And if I remember right, didn't Refuse to Die prefer the east side of the map?
It's been both. We saw a total push on the west after they had long-range fire, whittled down the HP of their opponent. And then in the second battle, I think it was around the corner they came and were able to win it out. World War II Fanatics pushing Valkyrie View Us in the IS-3 to get up the mountain.
Yeah, and they're going to be both taking a little bit of west side control. Stronger control in the Abbey, though, for Refuse to Die. With that, they may find themselves weaker if it comes to a west side brawl or a strong push by Refuse to Die, but I think Refuse to Die is going to be able to react in enough time. They might get the spotting from the Abbey, which would be crucial. Now Bag of Kittens actually taking a very forward scouting position.
Check it in with a Bag of Kittens in 1390. No spotting yet. Looking towards the bush. And nothing's going to be spotted. They're too far away.
Yeah, there's just Canada is just watching that bush, though, and once Captain Blood can get an indication, if you have Kittens there, then we could see fire, possibly from Doc Golem and Savagey, who actually have a beautiful cross on Kittens if he backs off. But Captain Blood, Canada, all have different angles of fire on that 1390. It's just such a dangerous position to be in.
Hired Gun's hanging back. He was able to spot one of River of Blood's tanks. Another one is spotted, the lighter one. I think that's
Oh, Canaduck's finally lit. As he moves.
Was able to see him. He was looking in his direction, but Canaduck is way behind cover. So that shot will not be taken by Bag of Kittens.
Although the transition is known, Refuse to Die should be reacting very soon. Either they'll start their own counter cap pressure, a flank, or maybe return back to the north for a brawl. I don't think Refuse to Die wants to do that. They know the strengths of River of Blood. They know they can't probably win that brawl very easily. They'll have to get a huge advantage. But they do have an IS-3. Valkyrie Vewas can put out some serious damage and absorb these T-69's heat shells if he plays it right. And here might be the push from River of Blood. Savagey leads the way. Stockholm hesitates a little bit, but will cover his approach. Kenneduck also doing such. And they've established Savagey a little bit further forward. And they're going to use Savagey to check out the Abbey. Verify no one is to their east, or at least no one they can see. And they'll probably move everyone else up so they don't catch themselves in a crossfire. All fire should be coming from directly north. Hired gun may be spotted in a moment, but Savagey should know that someone has lit him. No blind fire.
Here's a change coming from Refuse to Die as Quasar, Slovenian, and Anubis are heading up towards the northeast to the entrance of the long road. So the tactic from here is they can use, at least from long range, in case any of the tanks are spotted from River of Blood, that long range fire, but all of River of Blood's tanks are going to be completely behind cover. So, can Refuse to Die use this information, knowing that, hey, if we're not spotting any tanks on the east, we can set up some type of aggression, some type of flag cap. Initially, not to completely go for it, but at least to pull a couple turrets, to pull a couple tanks towards the south, to see how River of Blood responds. Almost like a recon type movement.
It looks like a River of Blood is kind of picking up on that potential, and they've got Rylak and Savagey returning to base. They're actually going to be playing very defensively, a little uncharacteristic of River of Blood. However, it's one way to catch your opponent off guard, not to actually push somewhere. Could work. Now Slovenia and Anubis are going to cross, take the cap. Savagey's going to spin his turret around. I think he's... Is he talking? It looks like his turret is talking. I think he's actually having a conversation, moving his... You know, you move your hands when you're having a conversation,
Yes.
even if you're not thinking about it?
Yes.
I think he's actually doing that.
It's
or
nodding.
just...
Maybe
or-
he's going in a circle.
Or he's actually dancing for the camera.
Well, here we see Anubis creeping up towards the flag cap of River of Blood, rather. Slovenian and Quasar are right behind him. 3 tanks total. One's a T1. None of these tanks are the large profile compared to 5100 that we saw a team yesterday use to plant the 2 T1s behind it and be able to get the flag cap.
That was Simple Tankers.
Yes.
It was a strong play. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that as easily as they've got their 5100 and IS-3 still up in the north.
No, yeah, they're not in the correct position for that to happen, but do they swing in the middle?
Seems risky.
That's a big gamble because here's what can happen. The one light tank that is in the middle of the Abbey can spot him very quickly. But Bag of Kittens, once he knows that's spotted, can move in and get the kill. And that's Captain Blood and the T1. They're so close. They're so close to each other.
Yeah, it really is amazing that neither of them have moved from this position. Bag of Kittens, the spotting position he's in is one of the strongest on Abbey. You have great view into your opponent's cap area. You can view transitions, and with that that combined with the southeast aggression from Refuse to Die right now is going to take a lot of map control. River of Blood has a good defensive control. They also have the ability to do an aggressive move, but only to the north on the west side of the map, down that 1-2 line. Other than that, they don't have a lot of potential actually for range of motion and range of aggression.
3 minutes and 40 seconds. We've reached the point where a brawl has got to happen, or we're going to go into a draw.
Very possible. I know you've said in the past that you don't favor Abbey because of its potential to draw, and I could agree. It's one of those maps that's harder if both teams aren't completely and totally willing to start a brawl, that you're going to see the draws. Because you want an advantage. Every team's hunting for an advantage early game. They need to get hit points somewhere. They need to find some tank out of position. It's a lot of picking the right opening move. And
It's
if
true.
you don't, you're just going to find yourselves at odds.
Well, because one of the T1s can live, and therefore it'll be a draw itself, more teams are inclined to go for something that could lead into a win or a draw instead of waiting to draw it out for the rest of the 2 minutes and 47 seconds. And now the 5100s are finally reaching the south. So take a look at World War II Fanatic. He has been spotted.
Can't tell if that's by GQ or by Captain Blood. I don't think it's by Captain Blood. Although Captain Blood has gone and knocked over a few trees. I'm wondering why Bag of Kittens hasn't gone and taken advantage of that. Maybe picked him off if he could, but no. Oh, and Dodoma. Dodoma gets himself spotted. I don't know. It must have been Kittens. Yeah, I guess Kitten's position is slightly shifted to the point where he can do that. Dodoma knocks over a tree, indicating he's still there. And we could be seeing that aggression as two Valkyrie Velas and World War II Fnatic are spotted by GQ.
If there's anything that's going to happen, it has to be now with 2 minutes and 3 seconds left. The IS-3 and the 5100 are in a prime position to set up a triangle, if you will, and to have two tanks camp inside it.
Possibly, but the reaction from River of Blood could be enough, especially since they have T1s like GQ, who are close enough to the point where if they take down the T8s on cap, that T1, GQ, could just pop on out and pepper the enemy T1s that they'll be hiding with a few shells, reset, and give them enough time.
Shots fired towards Valkyrie Vuis. World War II Fnatic peeked up on the hill and then fell back. And World War II Fnatic is going to turn the corner. 1:30 left.
It's Dodoma. Dodoma is putting out crossfire to the southeast of his position toward Valkyrie. He's also looking to the north to make sure that there isn't a trap, because that would be a pretty interesting move, especially from Refuse to Die, to make a two-pronged attack onto the positions of River of Blood from the north first, and then second across the cap would work. But Bag of Kittens is spotted as he crosses towards the cap to make a screen. Slovenian also spotted, and damage is being dealt.
World War II Fnatic down 854. Bag of Kittens is the other one that's being targeted. World War II Fnatic has got to get to the flag cap if he's going to be that wall. He can't get there in time. River of Blood was waiting for this, and now they are punishing Refuse to Die for moving into their flag cap. Oh, Anubis gets stricken for 515 as Valkyrie Vuis falls back and covers his retreat in the IS-3. 38 seconds left to go. These 1390s that are still left alive for Refuse to Die can easily escape River of Blood's tanks. This is going to be a draw rule kill. Yeah. However, you try to calculate what could have happened differently. Well, those 5100s took a long time to get down to the south, and if two of them had gone together, if there were two of them, then maybe it'd be a different story. The IS-3 would have fallen as well, and the return fire would have been harder to execute on the BL9 gun compared to the AMX 5100's gun.
You just have to look back to the execution from Simple Tankers yesterday and the same type of solution to the problem of your opponent is too strong a defensive position. And because of that, Simple Tankers was able to win yesterday because they were able to make a distraction and have the right trap set up. They were able to put 1390s in a different location for something else. But when a Bag of Kittens tried to push in, he was out in the open. He just went for it. Canaduck was already there. Beautiful spot by Canaduck, by the way. Was able to counter out Bag of Kittens with Dodoma and Overwatch, able to get a little early damage in, get an advantage for Canaduck so that he could win that 1390 fight very easily. T69 5100 cover on your own cap. You're just going to obliterate tanks. There's so much damage in every good position, and that's what worked out for River of Blood this time. Actually executing on a defense rather effectively.
Rather well. Yeah, rather well. That southwestern position is the strongest defensive position in the entire map.
Yeah.
Really is. Well, there's one thing that's guaranteed now, Roadkill, and that's we're going to go to 5 games at least. Since both teams are tied 1-1 and battle number 3 went to a draw, either team in this best of 5 has got to get 3 victories initially, but even if it goes to another draw and then another win, then they had 2 victories, 2 draws, and a loss.
Well, with Ensk being the next map, I'm thinking River of Blood has a lot of potential in this. Himmelsdorf, you saw where they were able to perform there. Ensk is another map, confident in their abilities. They did get smashed by Fnatic last time.
They did, and I really, really liked that new type of approach on Ensk. The thing that I can foresee here with Refuse to Die is to use more of the long-range fire in those 5100s with the railroad tracks, but also with an Object 416.
That would be a cute pickup.
Where it could slip in and out of some of those buildings or some of those even railroad tracks. Even though you can shoot under it, can't really shoot over it to hit the Object 416 with those railroad cars, especially the low ones that the IS-3 sit just above. And it's very nimble compared to, even a 5100 is fast, but it's the low, almost go-kart type tank that is the Object 416. Well, let's find out, Real Kills. We jump into battle number 4. What do we have for tanks?
For tanks, I'm looking at 2 5100s, 3 IS-3s for River of Blood. Refuse to Die will bring 3 5100s and 2 IS-3s. They decided to bring another IS-3 instead of doing what they did on Himmelsdorf. In the opening moves, looks like Refuse to Die is just going to be running around in circles, knocking a lot of stuff over. Is that going to be an east side play? And from River of Blood, oh, yeah, aggressive. Right at the beginning, Savagey, Doc Golem, Dodoma taking over the F road. And maybe, yes, Doc Golem's going to continue even further forward, even further north towards their opponent, right up into a position to maybe get a shot on Hired Gun. He's searching for it, and he might just find it. Zeroes the shot. Takes him out. That is a T1 down. Hired Gun dead in the first minute of play. River of Blood's on the right road to victory. We'll see if Refuse to Die is prepared well enough and has the defense or counter offense to get River of Blood off their train.
Here's a bag of kittens looking down the railroad tracks. He's looking towards where one of the heavies are spotted for River of Blood. And he's going to continue to look in that direction. He's not looking straight down. And this is a really vulnerable place for him to be, but he recognizes where the danger is for now. He doesn't recognize what's moving the other side, to the other side of the train tracks. As River of Blood could swing that way. He's going to be joined by Valkyrie Vuas.
Yeah, very potentially. If he stays in that position, Rylak actually looks like he's just spotted a bag of kittens. The counterplay from the south could be Dodoma, could be Canada.
Oh, nice shot against Dodoma. Or excuse me, against Doc Golem. Baggins is unable to land the second one.
Yeah, I think this is a mistake, but it also could be a brilliant bait. Dodoma, Canada from the south have beautiful shots now, and they're going to begin to unload.
Oh, big bounce against Doc Golem. Bag of Kittens is super low. Valkyrie Vuas is going to have to be the wall for Bag of Kittens to fall back, but he's going to take so much damage. Valkyrie Vuas is low, and he falls. Bag of Kittens trying to get out of there slowly. They're going to fire towards that dead tank. Unable to land another shot against Bag of Kittens, Valkyrie Vuas.
But here's the counter push. Rylak finding himself against World War II fanatic Slovenian. From the west, Anubis on the way. Rylak might not be able to stand up to this, but backup is there as Doc Golem and Savagey are unloading on World War II fanatic.
Check out the T1. Captain Blood is able to do a little bit of damage. GQ may push in to try to finish that up, but Doc Golem is able to take him down. And Anubis and Slovenian are now pushing forward. World War II fanatic right behind him. Anubis and Slovenian. They need to focus on one tank, and that's going to be tough. Bag of Kittens, however, gets from behind. A beautiful play from Bag of Kittens, and he gets one kill. Can he get another one from behind? Savagey still has over 50% health. Bag of Kittens lands another shot, and he gets a kill. Double kill for Bag of Kittens. GQ and Canaduck.
Oh, World War II fanatic almost goes down to GQ, but says no. Although Dodoma able to bring that one back.
Canaduck and Dodoma have a lot of health here. That's not the same for Refuse to Die as they take down Valkyrie Vuas and Anubis. Slovenian is low. Is he reloading?
Yes, and he's running away. Canaduck in hot pursuit. Bounces maybe off the back.
No, he got a hit. He got the hit. Dodoma is actually able to kill Slovenian. Well, at least in those last two shots. Canaduck and Dodoma now trying to chase down Bag of Kittens. They were overmatched, and now, because of the reload, Refuse to Die has 22 seconds left to get this flag cap, and they're up against two tanks that have 2,100 and something damage.
Well, Bag of Kittens finds Canaduck, begins unloading, but Dodoma's coming around the other way, and that's going to stop the cap.
And Quasar is going to do 12 damage to him before he dies. Bag of Kittens pushing up against Canaduck. Oh, that one, a big bounce off the turret. Not what Canaduck needed. Or not what Bag of Kittens needed. Canaduck needed that, though, to get the win. River of Blood is now up 2-1. Refuse to Die. They're trying to come up with, really, really good counters, or at least initiators, but River of Blood is not falling for the initial traps. They're able to counter what initially River of Blood, or Refuse to Die is doing, and then after that, Refuse to Die is trying to counter that counter, and it was working for a little bit until they lost all of the shots that they had in their autoloaders, and River of Blood was able to turn around.
That was a tactically
destroy him.
beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful battle. You saw River of Blood make a great counter move for the tracks. After that, you still got to see another beautiful play from Refuse to Die. Here, right here, looks like River of Blood's going to take it. They're going to be able to smash the tanks from the west between a crossfire, but Bag of Kittens is not the tank I expected, not the tank River of Blood expected. And even though these T1s try so hard, they really did a good job.
And that pressure on both sides was quite impressive. The thing is, though, how do they get even better than that? Don't take a whole lot of damage when you're going down the railroad tracks, which is Valkyrie Viewus had to step in to save Bag of Kittens. And it was unfortunate because once he committed that far down, they were anticipating that River of Blood was going to push through the city. It didn't happen. And so they waited, and by that time it was too late. Valkyrie Viewus was going to join him, and then he became the bodyguard for Bag of Kittens. So it's coming out of those windows, those timing windows, where Bag of Kittens could have left 10 seconds earlier, and they would have been fine. He could have made the call of, listen, we're not spotting him. That opportunity is gone. We shouldn't wait for the opportunity. We need to pull back, come up with something else, and then start the engagement.
Yeah, beautiful play by both sides. Let's see if they can do it again, or if we'll just have a mess on the hill, as mines will be battle number 5.
Battle number 5. And Refuse to Die is one battle away from falling. River of Blood, one battle away from taking the series. Rookkill, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, a Pershing, 2 T-69s, and 3 1390s for the side of River of Blood, a T-32, 2 T-69s, and 2 1390s for the side of Refuse to Die. And it's a good lineup for River of Blood to take the hill. For Refuse to Die, they might have Slovenian lagging behind, but we'll have to see what these 1390s do. Kanaduk and Todoma, beautiful spawns. Great lead and a perfect chance for them to take the hill in 1390s, even with the potential for them to get those bad spawns and lose out on hill control. It looks like Refuse to Die will not be going for hill control, though, and instead playing something that's slightly more defensive.
Which is a possible counter to the meta, what we're seeing continually of the hill battle for River of Blood. But as a reminder, since this is battle number 5...
Look to the hill. Are they trying to get someone on the hill? It looks like Anubis Bag of Kittens maybe have tried.
Looking for the spotting. They see Todoma. Bag of Kittens and Anubis are hanging
they're
back.
They're definitely trying to get on the mountain.
Oh.
That's the mountain
I
setup.
thought you said the hill in the center.
No, the mountain. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, they're going to be lining it up, and they need to correct to the left, left. Yeah, they...
Huzzah!
Nah, they did it. Okay. Now he's up. That's dangerous. That's going to counter the hill play from River of Blood. Refuse to Die has a very strong position. Let's see if River of Blood is prepared to deal with this.
The hashtag RU strategy that they have seen and used from the Russian European servers. Now Bag of Kittens is going to head up behind these rocks as well. So they want River of Blood to come to them. But as a reminder, since this is battle number 5, River of Blood can play this completely passively, and they'll win if it goes to a draw.
Well, Anubis has a lot of potential to get good spotting and deal plenty of damage. That's the main strength of this. He can just keep climbing the hills and looking for someone and trying to get those shots out. It'll just take a little while for him to actually get all of the distance covered for him to get the proper vantage point.
Well, Todoma is spotted. Anubis may have a shot here.
Not quite yet. He's still trying to climb. He has very little experience, I can tell. He hasn't been able to practice this much, so he's still getting used to how to get the right angle, and he has to worry about not sliding down the hill, as the momentum is
just
very
power
important.
sliding left and right.
Yeah, it's just difficult to do. You have to be very delicate and very direct with the way you climb the hills, or else your 1390 is just going to start sliding down.
This is typical of the play, though, from Refuse to Die, going for the longer range firefighting instead of the brawl, which is typical, more or less, of what we're seeing for a lot of teams that favor that aggression, is to brawl it in the center. And Fnatic performed so well last week of blocking Kanaduk and getting the first kills. He was in the consistent fire WC 132, and from there, it was GG. It was game over.
Yeah, it looks like Anubis is going to give up on trying to climb the hill for right now, as he's damaged himself for 5 hit points.
Well, Bag of Kittens still hanging back. Checking out World War II Fnatic's position. The T69. They're all hanging out in their own spawn point next to the flag cap. World War II Fnatic spotted. Rylac fires from afar. World War II Fnatic trades
Doesn't
Potential
connect.
shot does not connect. Valkyrie Vuis is next to him, ready to join in the firefight if need be. It's not the case.
And they're going to be moving GQ up in the T1, maybe get some spotting done. Captain Blood's still back at cap. Dodoma's looking for some kind of play to the east, but little does he know Anubis actually hasn't gotten himself into a beautiful position.
Incredible to think over a year ago these two were playing in the very first match of the WGLNA.
Yeah. What a way to start. And now they're back here, Season 4. Been a whole year since that.
Hired gun close to the turn point, the bottom of the mines itself on the hill. No spotting yet. He's joined by Quasiar trying to spot anything on top of that hill. No tanks will be close enough. These T1s are going to dance about, trying to spot the long-range fire from their 1390 brethren. Anubis way up top. Way up top. And one tank is spotted. Rylak from a distance, I believe. Shot fired for 240 damage from Anubis. Fires again for 452 total in that volley.
Wow. And now we've got Rylak down to 988 hit points. He's forced to take cover behind the Rock of Death. And since Anubis finally figured out how to climb the hills, we're going to see Refuse to Die able to deal a little damage and maybe make some aggression and tie this one up, take it to the tiebreak.
Anubis is looking left and right for a potential target.
He's not going to find a lot. It looks like River of Blood has prepared for this. They know the positions.
Another shot
Rylak.
against Rylak. Anubis gets a hit for 231.
Rylak tried to put out blind fire towards Anubis, thinking he knew the position, but all he did was reveal himself.
River of Blood has got to play for the win here. They don't need to chase after Refuse to Die. They can hang back, get Rylak way back, and have the rest of their squad, their team, be able to spot the potential approaches of Refuse to Die, and that's what's happening here. Anubis fires towards Canaduck. It's a miss. Slovenian is now going to hug the bottom of the hill in the center.
We could see Canaduck actually finding himself in a rough spot as Slovenia is moving up. Potential backup from Valkyrie Veos and a bag of kittens. If they catch Canaduck, there's not a lot of support for him. Dodoma, though, is on the top of the hill, ready, and the crossfire is being set up right now.
Slovenian takes down GQ. It's the first tank down, eyes and ears from River of Blood on the water side. And shot fired from Rylak into a bag of kittens. He takes 276 damage. He fires back towards Rylak. They're firing up on the hill. Dodoma takes a shot.
A lot of
Slovenia
wasted
misses.
shots.
Yep, a lot of misses.
Rylak attempts to return fire, but the current control from Refuse to Die could force members of River of Blood into a place where Valkyrie Veos can get a few shots. Not Valkyrie Veos, Anubis.
Valkyrie Veos gets hit for 226, spreading out the damage. Most of the damage still only being done against Rylak. Dodoma took a hit earlier. Bag Kittens peaks up a little bit. Rylak takes another hit for 241. And Slovenian is going to push forward in the T-32. His hole's going to get hit. He's going to get hit in the ammo rack as well. He doesn't get ammo rack yet. He gets hit for 1470, but he's able to barely make it.
And now Dodoma and Canaduck are lining up the perfect shot. Dodoma's waiting for it. And Canaduck unfortunately misses.
Everything is damaged. The viewfinder's damaged. He can't fire accurately, says his crewmates. He is super hurting right now, but he's still a threat. Dodoma and a bag of kittens may start this engagement here, but World War II Fanatic at full health is going to push up, and he takes down Dodoma. Canaduck is now going to get surrounded by bag of kittens and World War II Fanatic for 2 minutes and 48 seconds left, and Anubis from up top is going to rain hell onto Canaduck, and he is taken down. Refuse to Die is picking apart River of Blood.
And River of Blood doesn't have a lot left in him. Rylak is so very low. Savage and Dockholm could hold off this aggression just a little bit longer. They are T-69s after all. But the momentum from Refuse to Die should be able to follow through. They just have to get Anubis off the hill. Well, sorry, the mountain. And move him on over. Because everyone else from Refuse to Die is very low on hit points. Very easy to be taken down by T-69's focus firing.
Hired gun pushes up to scout. No tanks have fallen for Refuse to Die. River of Blood. Only 3 tier 8s left along with Captain Blood. At the 2-minute mark, this is where it's going to get very difficult. Refuse to Die has got to get either tank aside or flag cap. Hired gun's on fire. Does he have a fire extinguisher? Yeah, they're able to put it out. Took 98 hit points of damage in that series of
Bag of
volley
Kittens
shots.
has found himself in the water side and putting shots in the back of Doc Golem when he can. Both Savage and Doc Golem are a little bit distracted. This is the potential time for World War II Fnatic to just drop onto Rylak. Except, looks like he gets spotted, waits a little too long, and Savage is able to put one shell into him.
This is going to be close. Minute and 26 seconds. Rylak sees Anubis. Rylak takes a hit. He's going to... Can he get a shot back in time? He can't. Anubis takes down Rylak. Now it's down to 3 against 6.
Oh, Fnatic hurts himself jumping off the cliff. But now shots fired into Savage. One connection. They're just dropping down, trying to delay for time. 1 minute left in the battle.
And all the tanks are going to push up against him. Slovenian is Super T32, but he's still alive. Savage sees Anubis. Anubis is going to fire upon Valkyrie Viewers, takes Savage. Doc Golem is able to get Anubis, but Slovenian takes down Doc Golem. It's up to Captain Blood. Refuse to Die takes this. It means we're going to go to a tiebreaker. Unfortunately, it's going to be only 1 league point to the winner. We're going to have to check in with our admin to calculate the amount of damage which team did the most in order to choose their side. 33 seconds left. World War II Fnatic chasing after Captain Blood, and World War II Fnatic gets the kill. Refuse to Die is able to tie up the series, taking us to a tiebreaker. I am mightily impressed once again with that long-range fire, getting that damage, and then afterwards pushing in.
Yeah,
this is the bread and butter Refuse to Die.
Anubis was able to deal 2,634 damage in that battle from the mountainside, just raining tungsten all day on top of those tanks. River of Blood was not appreciating the potential of that position enough, and when they finally started taking hits, they forgot when they wanted to make an actual push. On the top of the mine, they were going to take out Bag of Kittens. They were just going to chase him down. But Anubis was sitting there with perfect shots in the sides of 1390s. He got to aim down. Just, there's no chance of bouncing with shots like that. Big mistake by River of Blood. It would have worked in any other situation. Any other situation you're in, and you've got hill control, you get to make those counter pushes. Your opponents have paid so much for the position. But when there's someone actually able to fire onto the top of the hill from almost anywhere, completely different story.
River of Blood dealt more damage, meaning that they will choose the side for Karelia, which is the tiebreaker map. How the tiebreaker works is that if they choose Defender, then the attacker Refuse to Die has to either tank a side, destroy all the tanks, or capture the flag cap. If River of Blood chooses to defend, then all they have to do is survive the 10-minute countdown.
It looks like a Bag of Kittens has used his timeout for the tiebreaker. And so we'll be waiting about a minute for them to think of their strategy, as I'm pretty sure they'll probably be the ones attacking. River of Blood doesn't want to probably take the disadvantages of the attacker side. When you spawn, you have such a wide spread from your tanks. You can spawn for like 300 meters apart from each other, and you have to spend a whole minute of the first of the battle just to try and group up so you can make a proper push. Whereas the defending side spawns fairly close together in, I believe, the just north of the cap. With that, you kind of give an advantage to the defenders if they want to take the northeast hill, which is generally preferred by most of the attacking teams. I don't think I've actually seen a defending team, have you, take the southwest hill?
No,
Okay,
not necessarily. I mean, we saw yesterday one of the tankers moving behind in the south and put a lot of pressure on the team that was trying to advance against him, but no, not necessarily that position in the southwest.
No, and River of Blood has chosen the defender's side, so they will be taking that advantage. Just an easy choice for a map like Karelia. Yep. You want to have that, and they'll just probably play for the draw, or I'm not sure what else they would want to do.
Yeah,
Maybe a little counter aggression to start off the map.
Well, let's talk about the southwest position on this map. We saw 2 tanks moving down there yesterday in the series that we saw that went to a tiebreaker. They didn't do really anything. They made sure that avenue was not being used by the attackers. The attackers had pushed all the way northeast, and then started to head west. And there was a couple shots long range, but in the end, one tank did sweep behind, was able to get on one of the viewpoints, you could say, for the long range fire.
I think that was Heavy 20 from Simp able to do that yesterday, if I remember correctly. He was the 1390 from the defender side on Simp.
Yeah, Simple Tankers. It was Simps versus Simple Tankers.
Yeah, and that was an example of the last time we saw high-level play, incredibly high-level play, by the way, on Corellia. We'll have to see if these guys can match up to it, because they've been showing a rather nice match back and forth and back and forth.
Teams should take a look at how Fnatic was able to play this in their tiebreaker series in the preseason against Simp. That was pretty cool as well. All right, here we go. Countdown is almost finished, and we're going to go into battle number 6, the tiebreaker between these two teams. Rukill, for Tanks.
For Tanks, 5100, Pershing, 3 1390s for River of Blood. Refuse to Die is going to bring a single 5100, T69, and 3 1390s. Of course, T1 still being pretty normal here. And on the opening move, River of Blood, going to head to the traditional defensive positions in the south.
I find it a good choice that there is only one Pershing on River of Blood rather than 2. Why? Because the amount of fast movers and autoloaders on the side of Refuse to Die, if they're able to get behind one of those tanks, be it a T-32 or a Pershing, and unload upon it, that's an entire defensive stance gone for River of Blood.
The just autoloader potency in World of Tanks overall, you have to bring them, you have to respect them. You can't get away with consistent fire tanks very often, except in very extreme cases. The vast majority of the time, autoloaders are going to win. The burst is too much.
One case I can think of, IS-3s on Ensk.
Yes.
The one-line push.
That's one of those wild, Hail Mary strats.
Yep.
You just bring it in when your opponent's not going to expect it at all. Of course, they get to see your lineup, but they don't know what you're going to do with it. And there's a wide range of possibilities from all the way from camping to that incredible one-line push you're talking about. And now, high ground cover. River of Blood has the south under their control. Beautiful vantage onto their cap. Dodoma, Doc Golem, both heading back to the north in order to get a little closer to their base and be ready for the cap pressure coming from Refuse to Die. But what's Refuse to Die going to be able to do in order to try and get the cap pressure, or at least whittle down their opponent?
Punish mistakes if River Blood makes any.
I don't see any yet.
Yeah, there's no need for them to move out of their position. There's the 2 tanks that move to the southwest, as I mentioned before, to scout, really, anyone moving to that section. None will. 1 tank staying behind. It's Quasar, perhaps? No, it's actually hired gun. No, it's neither. It's the other light tank. Is it Anubis?
World War II Fnatic.
Yes, World War II Fnatic. There he is.
He's going to
Up
have
on
that
top.
hill control.
Yeah. Up on top. Would you rather have the 5100 here, though,
Nah.
for better accuracy?
I'd put the 5100 because now you can use them to shield cap for a cap fast.
True.
Yep.
True enough. That's
It's probably Refuse to Die strat.
that's what they should have done on Abby.
Yes, but they were shut down with it.
They tried, yeah. They tried.
The defensive position from River Blood was just too strong then. And now they could try and get the same thing done. They just have to distract a few tanks. I think maybe sending World War II Fnatic to the south to try and grab attention from Savagey and from Canada might be the appropriate move and bring in a 4v3 tier 8 push towards the cap. That could work very well.
Anubis and a bag of kittens are now approaching the west. Anubis the point man, bag of kittens his support. They wait. A couple of key map indicators coming from bag of kittens to his team.
What is he pinging?
I can't tell.
You just hear, oh, I hear the pings, yeah.
Yeah, I hear the pings. You can't see it.
Nope, gotta keep those a secret.
Yep. Valkyrie, Viewus, and Anubis and Bag of Kittens are now set up for an initial pounce, but River of Blood has no reason, no need to leave their position.
And they'll just sit here for a while, just waiting, talking, chit-chatting, making jokes like they always do.
Valkyrie, Viewus, Anubis, Bag of Kittens now moving to the same rocks. Checking where Slovenian is. He's hanging just slightly behind. In the rocks in the Alpha 6 quadrant of the map. 5 minutes, 48 seconds for Refuse to Die to make their move. And now they're making a move. Bag of Kittens and Valkyrie Viewus are pushing up first. Bag of Kittens hugging the left side of the road.
Left turn.
The left turn side.
What is left turn? It sounds really, really old-timey.
I was going to
don't
say
know.
southern, but it turned out to be the left because of where I was looking, so it turned into left turn.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he went for the southern side of the road, or his left, as he was heading towards the west. Valkyrie Vuis now looking towards Rylac and Captain Blood's potential position, as the rest of Refuse to Die are now moving up together.
Well, they don't know. River of Blood just sitting around. Looks a little impatient. At least Doma does. Like, where are they? They're out there. I know. But he's just gonna wait. Just gonna wait. Refuse to Die, though. I'm not quite sure why they're using their time like this. Every second counts. A draw does nothing for them. A win is the only option, so time is absolutely the most valuable thing they have right now.
Four minutes, 27 seconds. In my mind, I'm thinking, why wait to the very end to initiate something? If it doesn't work, it won't work, whether it's at the 8-minute mark, the 4-minute mark, or the 2-minute mark. But then you realize, well, there's fatigue. There is a tactical timing, a tactical rise and fall, ebb and flow, mentally for any player playing World of Tanks. And if you keep your opponent guessing, if you keep them stagnant, they won't be as alert.
Fair enough.
And that's why Refuse to Die is waiting to this moment in order to make a move here.
They're going to make Canada complain as much as they can. And if
The Minister of Propaganda for River of Blood.
Yep. If they can make him complain a lot, maybe River of Blood will start shooting each other. That's their hope, obviously.
And World War II Fanatic and the Bag of Kittens are moving even closer. There's a special forces unit of tanks being completely silent and not even getting scouted how close they are yet.
They are doing an amazing job of not getting spotted. I don't think anything has been seen. Absolutely nothing from Refuse to Die. And they're just going to show up in the last few minutes. Very delicate movements. And River of Blood is not prepared at all. Anubis is spotted.
Now this is the first spot.
He's on the high ground, though.
Refuse to Die has to make a decision. Do they let Anubis get attacked, or do they sweep in when they're focusing on Anubis, who's the only tank that is spotted? War II Fanatic and a Bag of Kittens creep up slowly behind the rock cover.
But here's the thing. They've spotted Doc Golem, Rylac, and GQ. They know a number of positions from River of Blood, and they can use that to their advantage now. Spotting is happening. Bag of Kittens, Slovenian all spotted, taking a little bit of fire, and they're going to begin the cap pressure.
And Slovenian's going to go on first with the 5100. He's going to block for that T1 higher gun. Quasar's going to get next to him. They need to, yeah, right there, Slovenian, stay right there. There's plenty of room for your teammates to capture that flag with 3 tanks there. Slovenian's going to fall in a matter of seconds, but they're going to try to hold this off. River of Blood has got to target fire these T1s, and they've got to target fire quick. Dodoma, oh, they get one. Nice shot from Dodoma as he creeped out, and he gets the other one. Beautiful shots from Dodoma against those T1s.
He's just a monster, and that's going to cut off Refuse to Die's ability to make the cap work. There were a number of missed shells from River of Blood. If Refuse to Die made the attack, there's the possibility they could bring the momentum back in their favor, but they've backed off now. It's too late. I don't think they're going to be able to make it work.
Yeah.
Bag of Kittens is going to try to start the cap again.
But here's the window. See, this is where the 5100 failed to make a good wall. He needed to park himself right here in front in this little crevice. This window allowed Dodoma to just shoot these tanks easily right here. 36 seconds left. Now these T1s are going to block for the 5100 or for the 1390s, but Doma could land a shot right on the turret. Does. Somebody does, and World War II Fanatic right next to him. 26 seconds left for Bag of Kittens and World War II Fanatic. And Dodoma takes down Valkyrie Vuis. 33 seconds left. 3 tanks still left alive.
Yeah, and Canada is moving around to flank, and he may be able to find these tanks and take them down.
15 seconds. Here comes Dodoma. He's going to hit from the other side. And Canada, as you mentioned, oh,
That was weird.
yeah, missed a shot. Now he gets one against Bag of Kittens, and they take down Canada. But they're
Right.
able to push in. Doc Golem. Oh, big bounce from the 5100. And he falls, but there goes a bag of kittens. Anubis and War 2 Fnatic still in the fight. Savage is able to get the kill. Anubis, the last one alive, being pressed in by Dodoma, and he takes it. River of Blood able to take the series 3-2, meaning in the tiebreaker that they only get 1 league point instead of 3. This is a big deal because we've seen previous seasons when teams really need those 2 extra points to get out of the tiebreakers, to not even have to play in the playoffs. So even though Refuse to Die lost, they were able to drag down 2 of those points away from River of Blood. I want to make a comment about these teams, Rukil. We're seeing a lot of these games going to all 5 or even the tiebreakers, and I have to say that this has been due to the fact of an increase in skill level across the board.
I would have to agree. Everyone is playing tactically sound. Everything makes so much sense. It's comprehensive from both teams. The timings may throw me a little off, but that's because everyone's trying to play head games with each other, shows with head games with us, as we're just trying to figure out what exactly these guys are doing, and it's absolutely brilliant sometimes.
It is brilliant indeed. Well, that does it for the first series of the day. We're